Ever seen Johnny Depp carrying a jar of white powder? Me either. But Amber Turd swears that she saw it. She probably mistook it for her own Coke. And I know. Why is there a recap of Pirates of the Caribbean Part 2 without doing Part 1 first? Well, that's the thing. You never let anyone know your next move. Also, we love Johnny, and anything Johnny is always a win. The movie begins with history's greatest villains, the British Empire. They're taking a break from pillaging the world by arresting two young lovers, Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner. Lord Cutler Beckett has arrested these two star-crossed lovers for helping a pirate escape previously. A pirate named Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
All right, Captain Jack Sparrow. For the crime of releasing Captain Jack Sparrow in the first movie, Will and Elizabeth have been sentenced to death. Meanwhile, Captain Jack Sparrow is on his ship, the legendary Black Pearl. He's showing his crew something very awesome. It's a drawing of a key. How exciting! Jack Sparrow says that they will need the key for something. Elsewhere, Lord Beckett commands Will to find Jack Sparrow and bring his compass. Jack's compass has the power to point towards whatever the user wants most. In exchange for bringing the compass, Beckett offers to pardon Will and Elizabeth with some special letters from the king. Back at the Black Pearl, Jack is sad that the rum is gone.
Why is the rum always gone?
Just then, he is met by a man named Bootstrap. Bootstrap is actually Will Turner's father. He has a curse on him that makes him immortal and turns him into a disgusting creature. Bootstrap is forced to work under a mythical captain named Davy Jones. Davy Jones sent him here to remind Jack that Jack has a debt to repay. Else, he'll send the Kraken after him. Bootstrap gives a black mark to Jack, which will bring the Kraken to him. Jack immediately goes into panic mode. Fair enough, not everyone wants to die. He quickly wakes up all of his crew and tells them to sail to the closest land and away from the sea. Meanwhile, Jack's hat that fell off the ship is found by some fishermen. They start playing with it, but these are just NPCs with no plot armor, so they're killed immediately. Will goes port to port looking for Jack. One man points him out to an island where the Black Pearl is stranded, so Will goes there. However, no one is on the ship, so Will goes inland. There, he's suddenly attacked by some cannibals who knock him out and take him back to their village.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
The cannibals take Will to their leader, and it's Jack. Wow, how did that happen? Will tells him that he just needs Jack's compass, but Jack is actually in trouble. These cannibals eat their leader, and Jack could die soon. Meanwhile, Elizabeth's father, who is a powerful governor, frees Elizabeth. However, when they reach the port, Beckett's soldiers are waiting to arrest them. They open the carriage, but Elizabeth is not there. Elizabeth is actually at Lord Beckett's home with a gun to his head. She forces him to sign the king's letter which will free them. Lord Beckett does it, but like a proper villain, he is not scared at all and reminds Elizabeth that he still needs the compass from Jack. Back at the island, Will has been put in a hanging cage along with other members of the Black Pearl. Elsewhere, the cannibals are making a fire to roast Jack and eat him. If Jack doesn't think fast, he could soon become a 3-course meal. Will and the other Black Pearl members swing their cages to reach the cliff. After multiple tries, they finally grab the vines and start to climb. The men in the other cage accidentally grab a snake and they fall to their death. A cannibal notices what is happening and goes to warn the others. He stops them just as they are about to make Sparrow barbecue. When the cannibals leave, Jack swings and escapes the fire. The men finally reach the top, and their cage starts to roll away from the cannibals. They escape into the river while avoiding arrows from the cannibals. Meanwhile, Jack uses the pole to jump across a cliff, but he goes through a lot of bridges which cushion his fall. He and the crew run back to the Black Pearl, with all of the cannibals chasing after them. And just like that, a meme was born. Thankfully, everyone manages to escape. When everyone is relaxed, Jack tells Gibbs to sail, but not to open seas. He's still worried about the Kraken hunting him. Will tells Jack about his mission for the compass to save Elizabeth. Jack agrees to give him the compass if Will can find the key. Then they set sail upriver to the home of Tia Dalma, a mysterious priestess with magical tendencies. Tia Dalma looks like she's doing a cosplay of Amber Heard's evil soul. There, she reveals that the key goes into a chest, and inside that chest is Davy Jones's heart. Davy Jones, the man who was looking for Jack Sparrow. Jack wants to use the chest to avoid paying his debt to Davy Jones. However, the key is with Davy Jones at all times. There, it is also revealed that Jack cannot use the compass to find the key because he apparently is having inner conflicts about what he wants. Tia Dalma sees the black spot on Jack's hand. She says that Davy Jones can step on land only once every 10 years. So, land is where Jack is safe. She then gives him a jar full of cocaine for future use. Just kidding, it's just a jar of dirt. But anyone could be confused, especially Johnny Depp's ex-wife. Then, they all go to find the Flying Dutchman, which is Davy Jones's ship. Will goes to the ship to find the key to the chest. There, he finds some sailors and realizes that this ship is not the Flying Dutchman. The real Flying Dutchman comes soaring out of the ocean, and its crew is made up of crazy and supernatural creatures. They all take him and the survivors. After that, comes Davy Jones himself, and he has an overwhelming presence. He asks the men if they will die or serve him. One chooses to die. Others choose to serve him for 100 years. When he comes to Will tells him about Jack Sparrow. Davy Jones immediately teleports to the Black Pearl. Once upon a time, long ago, Davy Jones saved the Black Pearl at the request of Jack Sparrow. For that, Jack agreed to serve under him for 100 years, but Jack never paid that debt. Now, Davy Jones wants 100 people in 3 days in exchange for Jack's freedom. He also takes Will with him. So Jack and his men sail to the pirate port of Tortuga. There, they start collecting people to take with them. One of these people is a man named James Norrington. James was a Commodore, but he was fired from his job for failing to capture Jack Sparrow in the past. Now, he's just a sad old Bob who's drinking half the time and angry during the other half.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen.
Jack is really brave, and so he tries to run away. But James attacks him. This causes a huge commotion. All the people throw James out into the mud. Interestingly enough, Elizabeth arrives just then. Oh, and bit of a backstory. Elizabeth was once engaged to James, just before her adventures with Will and Jack. At the Flying Dutchman, Bootstrap is shocked to see his son, Will, here. Just then, a small accident occurs on the ship, so they prepare to whip Will as punishment. Bootstrap reveals that Will is his son. Bad idea, honestly. Davy Jones is a cruel bastard, and he commands Bootstrap to whip his own son. Despite being devastated, Bootstrap does as commanded. Later, Bootstrap and Will have a nice father and son bonding session. Will shows him the key, and a crew member tells him that whoever stabs Davy Jones's heart will become the new captain of the Flying Dutchman. In Tortuga, Elizabeth and James come to Jack. Jack tells them about Davy Jones's chest and his heart. Elizabeth only wants to find Will, so Jack gives her his compass, which always points to whatever he or she wants. She takes it, and the compass points to a direction. Man, I really need this compass to find a girlfriend. Anyways, on to the Flying Dutchman. As Davy Jones is sleeping, Will enters his cabin. He navigates Davy Jones's multiple tentacles and finally takes the key. With help from his father, he escapes the Flying Dutchman. Before he leaves, Bootstrap gives him his knife. Will promises to pierce Davy Jones's heart with it and free his father. Onto the Black Pearl, Jack and Elizabeth discuss the king's letters of pardon. James overhears this and realizes that he can use it to become a British officer again. Davy Jones has now realized that his chest is not safe. So, he commands his men to sail towards Isla Crucis, where the chest is kept. At the Black Pearl, Jack tries to seduce Elizabeth, but Elizabeth survives his devilish charms and tells him that he could be a good person if he tried. They finally reach Isla Crucis and they go ashore. With Elizabeth charting the direction on the compass, they come to a spot and start digging. Davy Jones also reaches there, but he cannot set foot on land for now. So he sends his men instead. Jack, James, and Elizabeth dig until they find a huge chest. There are lots of letters inside with a smaller chest. They can hear Davy Jones's heart beating. Just then, Will arrives and kisses Elizabeth. Jack and James both look at them jealously. Will takes out the key to stab Davy Jones's heart, But Jack stops him. Jack needs the heart to blackmail Davy Jones and ensure his safety. James also does the same. James wants to deliver the heart to Lord Beckett and become a British officer again. Since all of them have different plans for the chest, they have a triple threat match for the key. Elizabeth starts yelling at them. So, in all these distractions, 2 of Jack's pirates take the chest away. Meanwhile, Davy Jones's men also arrive on land to take the chest back. Jack, James, and Will fight on a tower, and they fight on walls. They fight on a giant wheel and inside the giant wheel. The whole thing kinda gets repetitive, but the gist is that these 3 fight everywhere. And the key exchanges hands several times. In the end, Jack ends up with the key. Meanwhile, Elizabeth was chasing the other 2 pirates for the chest, but Davy Jones's men come and chase them instead. Jack uses this distraction to open the chest. Inside is Davy Jones's beating heart. Jack takes the heart back to his boat and puts it in his jar of dirt. Elizabeth, Will, and James also arrive at the scene, while everyone is distracted. And I gotta say, these people get distracted a lot. Anyways, James takes the king's pardon letters. He also notices the jar of dirt. I wonder what he's gonna do with it. They all get surrounded. James takes the chest away to draw away the Dutchman crew, so the Black Pearl crew can escape. At a safe distance, he lets the Davy Jones members have it. The members of the Black Pearl go out to the ocean where they are met by the Flying Dutchman. Davy Jones looks on maniacally like a true villain. So Jack holds up his jar of happiness while laughing mockingly.
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt.
Calm down, Amber. That's not cocaine. That's just a jar of dirt. Davy Jones started firing on them, so the Black Pearl sails away. The Black Pearl is the fastest ship, and so it escapes the Dutchman. So Davy Jones releases the Kraken.
Release the Kraken!
The Kraken attacks the ship, and Jack breaks his jar of dirt. He realizes that his happiness isn't inside it. So the crew put all of their gunpowder and rum together for one big explosion. They carry the gunpowder high up while the Kraken causes havoc on the ship. Elizabeth has to shoot the powder, but she loses the rifle. Jack arrives just then like a friggin' badass and shoots the gunpowder. It explodes and the Kraken is injured terribly. But the Kraken will come back soon, so the remaining members abandon the ship. Jack is sad to let go of his beloved Black Pearl. While everyone is busy, Elizabeth realizes that the Kraken is only following Jack. So she distracts him with a kiss and handcuffs him to the mast. Not the right time to get kinky, Elizabeth. Jack is not angry at Elizabeth. He only smiles as she leaves him to die. Honestly, not much difference from Johnny Depp's own marriage. He manages to free himself, but the Kraken arrives just then. Jack faces it like a man and goes in to fight it.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen.
Far in the distance, the remaining crew look on as the Kraken takes the Black Pearl down. Davy Jones also watches this, saying that the debt between him and Jack is settled. Then, Davy Jones opens the chest to see his heart, but the chest is empty. Onto the British Empire, James goes to Lord Beckett with the king's letters of pardon. James also gives him a souvenir of the finest weed in the empire. But really, it's just the heart of Davy Jones. Nothing much. The crew of the Black Pearl are sad, so they go to Tia Dalma to cure their sadness. They drink to Jack's memory. Tia Dalma offers them a chance to bring back Jack, but she says that they will need a good captain. And her choice? Hector Barbossa, the villain dude from Part 1. And this is how this swashbuckling pirate adventure ends. For more unique and fascinating movies that you may not even have heard about, click on the videos on your screen. Also, do subscribe, like, and comment. Your one act will make a huge difference to us.